Hello and welcome everybody to today's video. Welcome to the Vee Academy. My name is Crumbrion, Professor Crumbrion, if you would. And today we're going to be taking a look at a wonderful game that we played on Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, and be happy to get your reactions to it. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. If you want to follow me and watch games in real time, check me out on twitch.tv/Crumbrion. For now, let's go check out the game. Thanks for watching.
3, 2, 1, go!
I do not want to go first. This hand. Dead. Too bad.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
You have to be mid. True. Pretty bad. Oh my god. Not the worst matchup for this deck, though. Oh. Hello, Zero. How's it going? We at least get to keep our hand here, which is slightly fine. But these are annoying because he's just going to attack my Charizard with these things. I have to deal with that, but... an infinite bossing. Also cool. So... counter game, because we don't have Team Evo. Both of our Team Evos are prize. We actually run 2 Team Evos in this deck, by the way. Funny enough. Funny story about that. Oh, can't wait to see what he, I mean, we get to keep one of our Pokemon here, which is good. So, this is actually a crazy good fucking grasping draw. Keep our Pidgeotto. I'm assuming he's going after our Charizard. We're going after our Charmeleon, rather. Have a choice. Yeah, maybe he'll go after the Pidgeot. Kind of a wild top deck, like kind of a wild fucking hand after that. Oh, he's just doing that, that's fine. We'll lose the Charizard immediately, unfortunately, but we can take that out with Clops. Let me slow down his attempt to murder my Charizard here. Slightly. He will just probably take... Well, he can't take 3 prizes now because we're going to kill him, but... Thankfully. Exactly. What do we go for here, actually? Go Super Rod. Turn. Can we just get a new hand? Nice. Good. Golden Go. Cute. So what do we do next turn here? We can take out... We can win the game next turn, actually, if we get boss. He doesn't kill... Yeah, I mean, even if he does kill our Charizard, we actually still have a chance to win the game. Be as simple, but... He doesn't kill our Zard. Oopsie doopsies. Probably a GG. I think we win, folks. That's cute. Rare Candy, Dusknoir, and Briar win the game here, actually. Which we have all of that, so. Oops. You think that your Pikachu is going to save you this turn? You are mistaken, sir. That is crazy. We just out-turboed a turbo. Red! He did the reveal? Want to take a guess on what the baby is to be is? I am going to guess girl based on your past histories. I see a rose. That was Rose. That was a kind of crazy game, actually. I'm going to take a look at that game, actually. Pretty wild. That was a four freaking turn game. I mean, that grasping draw was actually busted. You can always ask a question, Rose. Yes, go for it. As long as you don't mind. You got a boy now? Hey, let's go, Red. Finally. Finally, you're getting a boy. Let's go. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. You know, get a little man in the house. Let's go. Congratulations, Red. Finally getting away from the damn girls. Get someone in there to whip them in line now. Let's go. Gotta have someone to protect them, right? Dark can't be there all the time. All right. Let's take a look at this game. Congratulations, though. That's really amazing. That's so awesome for you. I'm very happy for you as well. Yeah, we started with like a pretty tough start on this one. We have a pretty tough start on this one. Considering everything that happened on this one, this turned out incredibly well for us. So we made some changes to the Charizard list, and I think I've cracked what I wanted to do with this list. His name is Xander. I love that name. If I ever had a boy, I wanted the name to be Xavier because I like X names. They're really, really cool. Oh, I have to update your role, Rose? Yeah, I can do that after. Just let me know. Just remind me after this. Hey, Lana. We're going to take a look at this game real quick. Because this one started out extremely rough into a matchup that I've largely had problems with before. And they kind of got what they needed to right away. But they actually whiffed on one thing critically on their turn, which is very important. We'll talk about that in a second. But we had a pretty bad start on this, which is also very important to note. So we start with a Pidgey in hand, and that's basically it. We don't want to put down the Fez just yet because we don't want to give up a Fezandipiti too early in the game. But Pidgey here starts us off. We have basically nothing, and we're going first. So our opponent decides to go second. They won the coin toss. We ideally want to go second in this list. I'm going to talk about the changes afterwards. I think I'm going to do a quick deck profile about this afterwards. So, because I'm actually pretty impressed with how this flowed on this game. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So we know it's Joltik box. We know that what they're going to be trying to do with Joltik box, which is going to be a problem for us, right? They have options into Charizard. Those options are pretty damn good in the Charizard. The only caveat is that they take a lot of prizes very quickly, which powers up Burning Darkness very fast. So we have to make sure that we get ourselves set up as quickly as possible. Not looking very good considering our opening hand only delivered us a Pidgey and not much else. And we're going first. So likely going to be a game where we can't get much done. So we basically have to guarantee ourselves a Charmander here. We have to Ultra Ball. We have ways of getting Fezandipiti back, so it's really not that big of a deal to toss Fez here, considering Fez is the least valued card in my hand right now, and Counter Catcher's not really going to do a whole lot for me right away because I don't have kill potential. I need to get Pokemon down. So we have Arven in the opening hand, which is very good because now we can search out Super Rod if we need to, because if we need to get Fez back, we need to get something else back, etc. We have Arven to kind of help us with that. We didn't prize check on the Ultra Ball. We would have found out that TM Evo was prized. We played 2 TM Evo in this list, and both of them were prized in this match, which is very, very bad. But we did draw a Charmeleon, so it wasn't the worst situation, right? We had Pidgeotto in hand, I believe. Yeah, we had Pidgeotto in hand. And we have Charmeleon in hand, so it's not like we can really do a whole lot with that TM Evo anyways, but it still hurts nonetheless. So they go ahead and they get Nest Ball down, they get Miraidon down, they Tandem Unit, they get their board fully set up here. Iron Hands, they're going to set up a second Joltik, because ideally what they want is Galvantula to be attacking into Charizard, because their Galvantula will be Grass type. Galvantula will one-shot Charizard. Not ideal for us, right? So Grass Energy on Joltik. They basically give up a free turn because they have to Jolting Charge onto the Iron Hands to get the Amp You Very Much off next turn. That's pretty much a given with this deck. They have to give up their opening turn to do this, which in turn, we usually have to give up our opening turn to do something like TM Evo or Grasping Draw, something like that, right? So it's basically a back and forth of us just giving up turns. So we draw boss's orders, which is unfortunate. Two things we could have done here. We could Arven or we could boss. We could boss to try and stall them, or we could try and Arven to forward our state a little bit more here, because we are going to have a free retreat cost with Pidgeotto in the active here. So we evolve to Pidgeotto, we have a free retreat cost. We get our Charmeleon down. The nice part is that Iron Hands can only attack a single target. So it can only attack either Charmeleon or Pidgeotto or whatever we bring into play. So Arven is going to deliver us the bad news here. We are going to be able to get Buddy Poffin, but no TM Evo. So we don't have any insurance policy. We can't get a second Charmeleon out, for example. So that's we're in a pretty tough spot right now. But one addition to this deck that I think actually gave our opponent a minute of pause here is Counter Gain. So Counter Gain I've introduced in this deck for a number of reasons, because number one, if we go down in prizes, which we do play the Dusknoir version of this deck. So Dusknoir is in this deck for the moment, which gives us control over our prizing. If we go behind in prizes, Counter Gain reduces our Pokemon's attack cost by 1 colorless energy when it's attached to that Pokemon. So it allows Pidgeot, for example, to attack for 1 energy. It will allow the version of Chi-Yu that I use, which is Ground Melter Chi-Yu. It allows Ground Melter Chi-Yu to attack for a single fire energy, which is extremely useful. Because one thing that I do know about the other Chi-Yus is that they take 2 fire energies to do a bunch of damage if a Pokemon's knocked out. But if a Pokemon has not been knocked out, they kind of lack on the damage front. Ground Melter Chi-Yu, if there is a stadium in play, you discard the stadium and you do 120 damage. It's pretty consistent damage. And for 1 single energy, with Counter Gain, if you're behind, you can go ahead and you can do 120 damage, which is pretty freaking good, because you can pull that right out of nowhere. You can get that single fire energy attached, Counter Gain, boom, you're good to go. So that's one reason I've introduced Counter Gain into this deck. The second thing that I've added to this deck, which I'll go more in depth on in the other video that I'm going to do, is Vitality Band, because Chi-Yu, the Ground Melter Chi-Yu does 120, which caps at 240 when you're hitting for weakness, which obviously doesn't hit numbers like Golden Go, because Golden Go is 260. Obviously, that's something that's out of range for that Chi-Yu, which is why the other Chi-Yu that's the double fire is more prevalent in those situations. So to combat that, because the Ground Melter Chi-Yu is extremely good for getting rid of stadiums. Its first attack is a single colorless energy, draw 2 cards, so it is just anti-brick. It's built right in, which is excellent. I really like that about that Chi-Yu. I included Vitality Band in this list as well, because Vitality Band actually allows us to have that Chi-Yu hit for exactly 260 damage, because it's 120 when you discard the stadium will instead be 130, and then 130 times 2 is 260, which hits 4 Golden Go's HP. And so all of a sudden now you're discarding the stadium, which could be Lavencia, it could be Artisan, it could be, we play Mesagoza in this list, it could be Mesagoza. Something it gets rid of the stadium, which benefits us, could be getting rid of Jamming Tower, whatever else as well, right? So it gets rid of the stadium and applies the damage, and then it goes from there, right? So that's very nice for us. That's why I like that Chi-Yu over the other version of Chi-Yu, and I think Vitality Band makes up for that lack of extra damage that you get, and you can do that damage whenever you want to, as long as there's a stadium in play to discard, because you don't have to wait for them to knock out a Pokemon. They see the Chi-Yu, they might wait for the knockout, they might play it slower, go for the TM Devo play. If you have the Chi-Yu, you're just constantly doing the 120 damage, 130 with the Vitality Band. Hits for 260 on for weakness, which also helps into that Crustle matchup, because Crustle will then hit. Crustle will get hit for 260, which is above that threshold of 250 when it has that cape on as well. So big thing to note. I think Vitality Band solves a lot of the issues that I think it included, because I wanted to make that work so hard and I couldn't figure it out, but we figured it out. So back to this game. We get Charmander evolved to Charmeleon, Pidgey evolved to Pidgeotto. We Buddy PAF in here. We're going to grab Cleffa because we have free retreat costs. We're going to go into Cleffa here. We have Duskull on the bench. So we're going to play down pretty much every card in our hand here because we're going to make use of Cleffa's Grasping Draw just to give us a brand new hand. We'll have to deal with whatever gets dealt with here. We attach Counter Gain to Pidgeotto because now Pidgeot, if they gust up Pidgeotto to take 2 prizes and prevent us from getting a Pidgeot, now all of a sudden we're going to have a Charizard that's powered up. If they gust up Charmeleon and take out Charmeleon, all of a sudden we'll be behind in prizes. So Counter Gain will be active, and Pidgeot, if we get there, would be able to attack for a single energy. So either way, it gives us a little bit of a benefit. Obviously, we would like to keep both Pokemon. That would be the ideal situation, but we attach a Fire Energy to Charmeleon, use Grasping Draw for a massive 6 cards, because we had 1 card that we couldn't play in hand, which was the Boss's Orders. So we had the Boss's Orders in hand, we Grasping Draw for 6, which is the incredible 6 cards that we got. So we got the Chi-Yu that I was just talking about, Ground Melter. As you can see, Counter Gain on this would mean just for a single energy, you're doing 60 damage base, 120 if you're using the Stadium to discard, and then you could just draw for, like, if you have Counter Gain, you can just use Allure for free, just like an extra 2 cards that you get to draw, just like Cleffa, effectively. So if you're behind, if you're bricking, then Counter Gain turns Chi-Yu into something extremely useful for you, and it helps out around the rest of the matchups as well. So and then we end up getting, so because we have Duskull down, we have Dusclops in hand now, we have Pidgeot in hand, and now we have Charizard in hand. So we literally have an amazing turn 3 coming up if we can get past not having our Pokemon that we don't want to have die. So Cleffa's in the active slot. It's probably going to get hamped unless they have Boss, so then we might lose Charmeleon, we might lose Pidgey, we might lose the Duskull. But if we don't, we have an incredible follow-up turn here in response. So we see a tandem unit, Pikachu comes down. We see another, we see Joltik retreat to the bench here. So they discard the grass from the Joltik, retreat to bench. They are setting up Joltik for another attack here. So big important thing for us we have to keep in mind. Joltik is a problem because Galvantula can one-shot Charizard. So the Joltik that has energy is the one thing that can actually blast our Charizard the following turn and pretty much put a pin in our balloon for the game. So we have to be very aware of this. We have the tools in hand to remove it from the board because it does not evolve this turn. They did not evolve it this turn, which is very good for us. So because it's not evolved, it's sitting there with 30 HP. We can blow it up with the Clops next turn, increase our Charizard's damage, and we can take out the Iron Hands. We could take out the Iron Hands just as it was, but we want to make sure that there's no follow-up attack, or there's a very little chance for a follow-up attack that is favorable for my opponent, because if they choose to, they could evolve Joltik and Crispin to the Joltik. Now that Crispin, instead of being spent on the Pikachu, which the Pikachu is a lot harder to set up than the Joltik is, that Crispin would then have to pivot to go towards the Galvantula to get them an attack, which would be unfortunate but beneficial for us because that would allow us a little bit more time to not have to deal with the Pikachu, right? Big news for us, huge. So they end up not having Boss, which is the best case scenario for us. They're still going to take 2 prizes because of Iron Hands. Going into Cleffa here with Ampy very much, fully set up Iron Hands with 4 energy. Going to take out Cleffa for 2 prizes. Best case scenario for us. They have no idea what we just drew. So we drew the absolute nuts off of that Cleffa. Cleffa, you know, did its absolute masterful job of getting us to where we need to be. This is probably one of the best hands that I've ever seen as coming from what we had. We had literally nothing. We got the 2 evolutions and then we just got the absolute nuts off of that. So we survived to this point. They got their 2 prizes for free. Now we get to play the game. So we put Chi-Yu to bench, attach energy to Charmeleon. We get Arven in hand now. So we get Charizard. We're going to attach the 2 energies to Chi-Yu. One of our energies is prized. We have 1 fire energy prized, as we saw. 2 energies going on to Chi-Yu. We get Dusclops evolved, and we get Pidgeot evolved. If my opponent's jaw didn't drop from seeing this, I don't know. That was pretty freaking wild. We end up getting Buddy Poffin, grab Vitality Band. Don't necessarily need Vitality Band, but just taking it out of the deck because we have nothing else to pull out anyways, just for consistency's sake. Buddy Poffin going down, we get Charmander, we get Duskull, just for more future turns to set up here, just in case they blow up our Charizard. We can Cursed Blast the bench Joltik that got energy, so that's another prize down, so now they're down to 3 prizes. We're blowing that Joltik up, so that's 1 prize for us. We're going to take the Iron Hands, that's 2. So we'll both be at 3 prizes now. So we're going to be at even prizing. No counter catcher. They're going to have to boss. They're going to have to boss or prime catch, something like that, for the next turn to get us out if they want to take something else out. So Dusclops goes away, obviously. Kaboom. We get an Ultra Ball from the prize cards. We draw Super Rod. Super Rod's going to obviously get our Duskull back, our Dusclops back in our Fezandipiti. We have changed the list to put a 2-2-1 line of the Dusknoir. So we have 2 Duskull, 2 Dusclops, 1 Dusknoir now, just in case one of them gets prized. Obviously, it's a very bad situation if you rely on rare candies. This deck runs 3 rare candies right now, so Super Rod efficiently here. We get the Fezandipiti. We have Ultra Ball in hand, so even though we have we lost a Pokemon last turn, sitting here with Super Rod, we got Ultra Ball off of prizes, so Ultra Ball becomes useful right away, becomes Fezandipiti. We don't need boss's orders right now because we have more boss in the deck. Don't need Pidgey, so Pidgey goes away, turns into Fez. Fez turns into another Ultra Ball, turns into a follow-up Dusclops. It turns into a Secret Box. Pretty huge. So we're riding just absolutely like the absolute nuts on this next turn. Chances of our opponent hand disrupting us very, very low, considering it's a Joltik box deck. So we are keeping all of this, and we just have we have in hand Dusknoir, we have Pidgeot for rare candy, we have Secret Box for Briar. So we literally just have everything we need to take the game on the next turn. So we Burning Darkness for 270. Iron Hands gets knocked out. So it becomes a little bit more challenging if Charizard does get knocked out, but because of Secret Box, it gives us a lot of opportunity to get back to where we need to be, basically, because we can blow something up for 1 prize. We can take out a 2 prizer because we can go and grab boss's orders. And then that can end the game right there because we can get the pieces for Charizard very easily. We have a Charmander. We would just need to Super Rod the energies back in the deck, get the rare candy, put them all together, all of that fun stuff. We have all of the pieces that we need basically to win the game, regardless of what direction our opponent takes. So they're going to go ahead and we get a Fire Energy, which is very useful. This turns out to be very useful, actually. The prized fire. We could have grabbed it with Pidgeot, too. We could have grabbed the Mist Energy that was in the deck with Pidgeot, but regardless. TM Evolution, one of our 2 TM Evos, back in our hand now. Joltik is in the active slot. So they're going to try and stall us out here for a turn to give themselves a little bit of chance to recover. Show that they actually are playing the Golden Go version of Joltik Box, so Joltik Box Golden Go. They put down Gimme Ghoul on the bench. They Nest Ball. They get Fez. So they draw 3. They get their Prime Catcher off of the Fezandipiti draw here, which is, it's fine. Them playing this tells me they're not going to knock out Charizard, which means we have guaranteed game now. So unless they hand disrupt, which this deck likely is not running a ton of, maybe 1 Iono, if that. So Prime Catching tells me that they're trying to stall us for a turn to get their bearings back, get themselves set up so they can get a Galvantula going or get a Pikachu going or something here to have a response. This is an excellent situation for us. Having Fezandipiti in the active slot, they put Gimme Ghoul to the active slot. After the Prime Catcher, they Air Balloon the Gimme Ghoul retreat back to Joltik, and then they put Bravery Charm on Joltik to avoid us hitting this with another Duskull, right? That's very important. So if we hit this with Duskull, obviously that's an easy single prize. We take that. Then it just becomes whatever comes up, we knock out for the following 2 prizes, whether it's between Briar or what have you. It's a very heads-up play by my opponent. It forces me to have to play the Dusknoir now. So they go ahead and Jolting Charge, and then they attach energy to the Pikachu, which means this tells me they have Crispin in hand for the follow-up turn. to get that, but it doesn't matter. They're not going to be able to get a follow-up turn here. So we draw TM Devo. It doesn't really matter at this point. Quick search, get rare candy, grab Ultra Ball. So Ultra Ball is going to get us, well, we have Ultra Ball in hand. Ultra Ball is going to get us Dusknoir. We have rare candy in hand. Because of oh my gosh, because of Pidgeot, we secret box to get Briar. We could have secret box just to get everything that we wanted here. In the Pidgeot could have been to grab energy if we didn't have energy in hand. So we literally had game regardless of what, if we drew energy off of the prize or not, or this could have been, you know, Super Rod or something like that. Literally anything at all could have been a bunch of different things for us, but we had all the pieces we needed. Rare candy into Dusknoir. Dusknoir is going to knock out the Gimme Ghoul on the bench. Important reason when we go after Gimme Ghoul here. We don't go after Pikachu. We don't go after the active Joltik. The reason we go after Gimme Ghoul, take out the Gimme Ghoul because that is a guarantee that the Joltik will be staying in the active slot. If we go after the Joltik, then they put up the Pikachu, and then the Pikachu soaks an attack for turn, and then they have another turn after this. So it would force us to have to boss around that, and then we couldn't Briar that turn. Obviously, we could just grab Boss and like blow up the Joltik, grab Boss, Boss around the Pikachu for game. But we wanted to go for the Briar turn just to show that we could do the Briar turn. Doesn't come up very often, so it's nice when you get to use it. So. But this is why it's extremely important. If you have a single prizer, you know you have Briar in deck. If you don't, you just grab Boss anyways. You have Boss or Briar, you have game. Blow up the Gimme Ghoul, guarantee that they don't have a Pokemon that you can't do anything about in the active slot. And then go ahead and take whatever you need to. So we get the Iono off of that. Play the Fire Energy to Fezandipiti to retreat because we had the retreat for Fez anyways. Charizard's in the active slot now. We play Briar, as we have not played a supporter this turn. Take 2 prizes because of the Briar, and that was the game. 3 prizes, 2 turns back to back, 6 prizes across 2 turns. Charizard's pretty powerful. Charizard's pretty powerful, not bad. Mist Energy was prized, so if we whiffed on that energy off of the prizes, then we actually would have been in a lot of trouble, as we couldn't retreat the Fezandipiti, so that would have been an issue. But we do run Turo in the deck. We do run Turo, but if we ran Turo, that means that we couldn't, we wouldn't be able to get the win that turn because we'd only be taking a single prize. A lot of different things that could have happened there, but very fortunate that we got at least one of the energies that was prized out of that. And so there you go. Again, I think I'm gonna do a deck profile because this felt pretty good. Very terrible start for us. It rebounded spectacularly. I think Secret Box is very strong for Charizard. I think the changes that we've made to this make it go in a direction that we want to go. We didn't see Jacq this game. Jacq, it turns out to be a very good one in this one too, but didn't need it. Didn't need it. So right on. Be sure to check out the deck profile that we do for the Charizard deck. I can't wait. Be a good one.